Hey, hi everyone, welcome back in Java Mind Techie channel. I hope you all are doing well and also enjoying a lot what I have uploaded the video. So today I am here to discuss all about EY interview process. So how the EY company is going to conduct all the interview process and how I got selected in this interview. So this company is conducting 6 round the interview. So if you're going to attend this EY company interview, so you need to attend all the 6 rounds. Only they will release offer later. So what all those 6 rounds I will explain now. So first round they are going to conduct a screening round. So they are going to screen your profile. That is first round. Suppose if your profile is everything is correct as per the expectation, match their JD, so they are going to conduct second round. That is a technical round. So they will ask all the technical questions. That is all the things core Java and framework related database. If you are full stack, then they will ask Angular or React, whatever you know, right? So these all the things they will ask. Second technical round. Then third will be the hacker rank test, that is coding round. Okay, so that third round they will ask all the coding related questions. They will give some link and they will assign some work. 2 to 3 questions they will give in the hacker rank and you need to complete as per the 1 hour. So if your score is more than 60% or till 60%, so you will be selected in this round. Then they are going to conduct fourth round. The fourth round fully belongs to the client round. Whatever these people are going to deploy you which project, that their project round. So some other client letter. So for me, so what I'm going to explain here, that is your personal experience. So for me, that was the Morgan Stanley. Okay, so Morgan Stanley panelist came and asked all the questions. So in that round, more focus on the coding part only. They'll ask some question in the technical part also, but more focus on the coding part. Once it has done, if you are selected, then they are going to the fifth round. That is the managerial round. In that round, they'll ask scenario based question, most of the questions. So how are you going to handle the teams, how we have done all the process is scenario based. If you are going to select in this round, then they will conduct the HR round. HR round, nothing too much about your work culture and whatever the package, all the stuff they will ask in this round. If everything going smooth, then they are going to release your offer letter in 6 rounds. So all the process may complete almost 2 to 3 weeks. They will take time. So now I'm going to share my personal experience. So what I have faced the question during the EY interview, right? So all this question I have written. So what I have remembered, what they have asked question to me. So I have written here and I will explain one by one, not briefly because lots of questions are there. Or at least this interview happened in 1.5 hours. So lots of questions they have asked. So what I remember, that question I have written here and I will discuss one by one. And short description I will tell you. So see, first question as usual, right? So every interview will ask first question, that is introduction yourself, right? So already I have discussed this topics in last video. Might be I hope you all are seeing this video, right? If you didn't watch this video, please go that video and watch, then come to here. Then come to know all the topics because introduction is a very important part. If interview asks introduce yourself, then you need to give pretty complete explanation about your introduction. Then they'll come to know you are more confident guy. Whatever they ask the question, you are able to give the answer. Okay, see guys, so that is the our all the related question. So that introduction already mentioned you. No need to explain this part as of now. I will jump into the second part. That is the first part. So when I have faced the interview, that is first part. That more question will come into that section only. That is the core Java topics. So core Java topics I have written here. That is main important part. So in that section they have asked first question. Do you know collections and esteem difference? So I have replied very well mannered, very smoothly. So what collection we know very well, right? So collection is the collection of object. But if you are going to perform any operation on the collection object, then you need to use the esteem API. Okay? So that is the answer. They have appreciated me. Oh yeah. Then we will jump other questions. So that is the first question. Mention you present esteem. Second question, how class builder work? This is also a very important question. Most of the interview ask this question. This is very basic, but you should know. So what a class loader works, right? So class loader works means, guys, see, so we will have different types of class loader, right? So we will have the application class loader, extension class loader, and the bootstrap class loader. So once we are going to execute any application, definitely in the application, lots of class will be there, right? So first it will check in the bootstrap class loader. Okay, if the class is not there, okay, then it will come to the extension class loader. Even in this extension class loader also, class is not able to find, then it will go to the application class loader. Suppose in this level also, in this application level platform also, if we are not able to find the class, right, then they are going to throw the exception, class not found exception. So such type of explanation I have given to you, he appreciated. So you should also give such type of explanation. Also guys, keep one thing in mind. So what I'm going to explain here, I will explain all the topics in next video also. As of now, I'm giving short explanation. I will give briefly explanation. So don't worry. Okay. So third question, you got it. The second question, right? Then third question, has map newly feature added in Java 8. That is very important question also. So because lots of interview asks only the how has map internally works, but that interview what they ask. So what the feature added in Java 8 into the hash map. Okay, so once you're going to keep the object into a hash map, right? So in bucket node will be clear, right? So first node you're going to save the our hash code, then the key, then the value, the last node is the null, right? So if you have multiple objects you're going to save, it will create a linked list, right? So in this Java 8, instead of linked list, they're going to use a binary tree. That is a new feature added in the hash map. Also, this is very important question. You need to give such type of answer in this way. So this is the hash map, and after that, the other question: why set not allow duplicate defined internally? So I have written some code. Okay, because this set, this question also means set is not allowed duplicate. It also again hash map implementation only. Key and value pairs. Whatever the key is there, it will check. So if already object is there, it will not save to the object. I will explain in coding. Once I will start the coding, then I will tell you how this internally happened. But just as of now, for knowledge sake, it's also happening with the hash map implementation only. Okay, I will explain again. Don't worry. So this question they have asked. In question number 5th, asked what they are asking: why string immutable? We know very well. This question is definitely every interviewer asks. Because if you're going to the immutable concept, right, definitely this question will come into picture. Why string immutable? We know very well, right? So if you're going to create object into a string, right? So we are two-way, right? So with the help of new keywords and with the help of literals, right? Suppose once you're going to create the object with the new keywords, so every time object will create into the heap memory, right? But once you're going to create the object with the literals, right, it will go into the SCP. Right, and next time if you're going to create with the if you're going to create the object with the literals, then it will check if object already there in the SCP, it will not create. The main concept string is immutable. It will use same reference, right? So that is the question. Why string immutable? You should know very well, right? And also you need to give the answer very perfectly. Only they will convince. Otherwise, they will not happy with your answer. So this is the 5th question. Then they ask Java 8 feature. It's very important. You know, you all are know, right? So why this question is important? Because lots of features they have introduced in Java 8, right? So they have enabled the functional interface. Then it is lambda expression, stream API, method reference, optional class, date and time API. Lots of features they have introduced. Right? So I have explained one by one. So they also appreciated. Yes, you know very well. So this is a very important question. And I'll explain also briefly once I will explain the coding by that. So Java 8 feature. Then 7th question is how to sort array in ascending order using custom method, not any predefined method. You know very well. If you don't know, also I will write the code. This is coding part. How to sort array in the ascending order? That is the coding part. Okay. So this question belongs to coding part. So I mentioned here coding part. I will explain this thing in our system. Then we will come to know how this part is happening. Okay, how this question you're going to tell to the interviewer, because we need to output. Suppose ascending. Suppose if you have 1, suppose 2, and 7, 5, 3, right? So how are you going to sort? So 0, 2, 3, 5, 7. Answer will come, right? So in this way, I will write some custom logic. Then I will represent in front of you with the system. So this is a question. So then there are question map and flat map difference. This is also important question. So map, right? So this is map I use, right? So once you're going to operate an operation entire object. Suppose if you have list of object, and you need to add 2 in each and every element. Suppose if you have list of object is suppose 2, 4, 6 and 8, right? So if you need to add 2 in each and every element, suppose 2 plus 2, what it will be 4. 4 plus 2, what it will be 6. 6 plus 2, 8. That means each and every element, if you need 2, the result will become 4, 6, 8, 10. So that is called the map. So if you are going to perform the operation entire object, map. Flat map means what? List of object. Okay, that I will explain also coding base. That will come to very easily. That is a mainly basic difference. And serialization and deserialization. This is a very important question. Almost every interview asks this question in the interview. Okay, we should know very well. So serialization, deserialization. So the process of saving the object into the file or network level, right? That is called the serialization. Just reverse. It is called the deserialization. Also, I will tell coding base how we are going to convert the object into the file. How we are going to save the object into the file. Then I will explain in the coding base also. And just reverse. How you are going to read the object from the file. That is a deserialization. And this also rarely ask the question that is serial version UID. So you know what happened. So when I told this answer, so serial version UID not taken by the developer, it is taken by the JVM. This question I explained in that way. So serial version UID will take care by the JVM, not by the developer. But they've asked, you need to know also this question. Then I have answered. So answer is right. See, so if you are going to serialize any object, so JVM will create one unique ID. Right, same unique ID you need once you are going to deserialize this object. Okay, that is the main unique ID. It's called the serial version UID. Got it, right, guys? What I told you. So once you are going to serialize any object, JVM will create one unique ID. So same unique ID we need once you are going to deserialize this object. If unique ID is mismatched, we are not going to deserialize. We can serialize and we can get unique ID. Got it, guys? So that is a serial version UID. That unique ID is called a serial version UID. Exception handler hierarchy, guys. So that is a very well-known question. We know very well also, right? So we will have superclass through table. That is exception. Then it is error. Another exception, runtime exceptions are there. So we know what is check exception, what is uncheck exception. So all these things comes under the exception handling hierarchy, guys. In that I will explain all the hierarchy of the exception handling and how we are going to handle. I will explain later on. So guys, we have explained till part 1, right? So part 1 entirely completed. So what they have asked the question, we have explained already, right? So now we'll jump into the second part. That is the Spring Boot, that is framework level. They have asked the question. Okay. So what the question they have asked? So I am explaining one by one. So first question they have asked, that is what is a Spring Boot application? That main annotation. So you can see here, right, on the board. So as the rate of Spring Boot application annotation. So that's a very important annotation in the Spring Boot. So it consists of 3 annotations. So first annotation name is at the rate of configuration, at the rate of component scan, and at the rate of enable auto configuration. So belong these 3 annotation, it consists, it will make as a at the rate of Spring Boot application. Okay, so we need to explain in that way. So second question came, what is the at the rate of qualifier annotation works in our Spring Boot? Okay, so see guys, so this qualifier has a specific meaning. So it's the meaning of this at the rate qualifier annotation. So when we can say we can avoid ambiguity when a Spring finds multiple being with same type. Then if you use this qualifier annotation, it will resolve our issue. Okay, that is the second question. Then third question, what? How to include custom server instead of inbuilt server. So we know very well, right? So in our Spring Boot, so by default servers are there, right? So no need to configure any custom server. So that means the Tomcat and the Jetty is embedded server. If you need custom server, so we need to exclude that embedded server and add in your custom server what you need. Okay, that is the process. And fourth is the what is being a scope and what is scope by default. So we will have multiple scope in the our Spring, right? So that is singleton, prototype, request scope, session scope, right? So by default we know variable singleton, right? So that this question they have asked. So next question is the attribute controller and attribute rest controller. Okay, so difference between main is that response body. So attribute controller doesn't use the response body, but rest controller use the response body. That is the main difference. Okay, and next question is the why Spring Boot over Spring. Okay, so that means we need to tell to the interviewer what the benefit for the Spring Boot, right? So it has embedded server, it's an auto configuration. Okay, it's actually there you're going to use. Forms are there, so by default lots of configurations are there. So that's why differentiate with the Spring. So we can elaborate in that way. So in last the question is not last, the seventh question, can we create non-web application in Spring Boot? Yes, correct. We can create a non-web application also, excluding the web dependency from the pom.xml. This question they have asked. Next question they have asked, what is the use of profile in Spring Boot? Okay, see guys, the profiles means what? So we will have different environment level, right? So development level, QA level, prod level. So different types of configurations are there. So it will distinguish with the different configuration as per the environment level. That is the profiling concept in the Spring Boot. Next question what? So what is a Spring Actuator and how enabled in a Spring Boot? So we know very well, right? So Actuator is the by default facility they are going to provide in a Spring Boot, right? So it will check our health, check our application. That is, you can say that ready production configurations are there. So lots of things are there by Actuator we are going to check. Suppose sometimes heap dumps are there, memory leakage are there. So with this concept we are going to check. Okay. So this concept is the Actuator. Okay guys. So this is what they asked and what I remembered. So I explained all the questions related to Spring Boot. Now we are going to jump into the microservices level question. Okay. So what the question they are asking the microservices. So first question they have asked, why microservices and define briefly. See guys, this question is very very important for our discussion, right? So when I will make one video about the microservice architecture, then I will explain briefly. But as of now, due to time ability, I will not explain briefly, explain shortly here now. So each and independent services is called microservices, right? So they are going to follow some architecture. So if you are going to create microservices, right? So some design patterns are used behind that. So we need to explain all the design patterns, how the microservice is going to use. Okay, so I will explain in a separate video, but this is the basic definition as of now. Here I would like to add one point, why microservices and define briefly in that question. So see, means once we are going to use microservices, right? So you will have the independent services, okay? So if we are going to do microservices, so lots of problems will be solved, right? Because earlier we are going to use the mode listening. In mode listening, in same service we are going to integrate all the tasks, all the related module. Okay, but in microservices we are differentiated. So we are going to use the e-card services, payment services, delivery services, notification services. So each and every service are interdependent. Okay, in one module we are not going to accumulate all the things. Each and every service are separate. That it's easy to understand, debuggable. If you get any issue in any service, we can find easily, right? So lots of things are there. So that's why we're going to use the microservices. Okay. See, and second question is how to handle communication in microservices. So we know very well, right? So once we are going to establish our microservice communication. So mainly there are two types of communication. First is synchronous and second is asynchronous. Synchronous means we need to depend upon the response for other services. Okay, but once if we don't need to depend other services, that we're going to use the asynchronous communication, right? Asynchronous communication, that with the help of Apache Kafka, RabbitMQ, GMS like that. But we are going to use the synchronous communication that can achieve with the help of REST template or thin client like that. Okay, that is the main thing to communication we are going to establish in microservices. So third question, explain Kafka messaging system. So we know very well, right? So Kafka messaging system, so producer, consumer like that. Once you are going to receive the message, then you are going to consume the message, right? So that's with the help of Kafka messaging system. Okay, we'll define very briefly in next video, but shortly I'm explaining here. So then next question is, which design pattern did you use to create a microservice architecture? I have explained API gateway design pattern, because in API gateway design pattern, lots of things coming, right? So if you're going to design pattern in the microservices, so we are going to use the API design pattern, API gateway design pattern. It means how you're going to redirect request to different microservices. If you have any issue, so how you're going to use the circuit breaker, and how you're going to use the Eureka service registry, how you're going to use the config server. Lots of things are there into the what in API gateway design pattern. So I have told to the interviewer I have used API gateway design pattern. So then they have asked how you have used. So I'll explain briefly. Okay. So also, if you need to tell the interviewer, you can tell I have also used the API gateway design pattern. And also, I will explain in the next video briefly if you need. Please suggest in comment section whatever topics you need very carefully. I will explain on all the topics one by one. So guys, this is the fourth question they have asked into the microservices. So now they have jumped into the REST. So in REST part, they have asked only two questions. So first question they have asked how to create update endpoint. So we know very well, guys. So if you are going to expose any endpoint, so it might be get API, post API, and put API, fetch API, delete API, right? So lots of APIs. So they have asked the question update endpoint. That means I have done with the put API, right? I have just told to him. So what the process I have followed. So that means in this question I have used the put API. So it's very simple, and I will also explain next video or coming video how we are going to create the endpoint. Okay. So that is completed. So next question they ask difference between put and patch. Already I mentioned you. Put means if you need to update entire resources, then you're going to use the put API. Okay. If you need a partial update, then you're going to use the patch API. So these two things I have told to the interviewer. So they have asked these two questions. So now I'm jumping into other section, that is the design pattern. So this part also very important. So most of the interviewer asks about the design patterns. So which design pattern used frequently in our project? So see, you know very well. So we will have the three different design patterns: creational design patterns, behavioral, structural. So they have asked which design pattern did you use? So I have generally told factory design pattern, asset design pattern, singleton, adaptive design pattern, ambitious design patterns I have told. So they have asked some question, and they have also told how to write the code. Whatever you have used the design pattern as per the project level. So I have explained very briefly. Also they have appreciated this coding. Okay. So this part design pattern. So and last they have asked about the DB side. So in DB side also I have told I have used SQL, MySQL, SQL Server, and Oracle. So they have asked most of the question about the Oracle and MySQL. Okay. So they have asked first question, how to use indexing in a query. So indexing means, guys, so once you're going to performance, then you are going to use the indexing concept in the query. It will enhance your performance for scripting or the query. Okay. And next question they ask, define normalization concept. See, normalization concept means normalization concept is very vital parts in our script. Okay, so once here we will have different types of tables are there, or big tables are there. How you're going to split into the smaller one, and how you're going to manage your column tables in the structural manner. Okay, with the help of different types of normalization, first NF, second NF, third NF, fourth NF. In that way I have explained to him. So then they have asked question, define constant in the SQL. So we know very well different types of constants are there. So already I have explained very briefly. And then question they have asked, define about the join, subjoin, cross-join. We know very well, right? So once we will have multiple tables are there, definitely we need to use the join, right? Subjoin, full join, left join, right join, right? So different types of joins I will explain. Also they have asked some scenario based question. So how are you going to use the left join and the right join, like that question. And after that they ask the cross join. We know very well Cartesian product, right? So that time we are going to use the cross join. So also explain very well. So now the question came how to use cursor. That concept I have explained very well. So this is also an important question. And aggregate function, right? We know very well, right? So that is mean, max, count, different types of aggregate functions are there. They have told in which place in your project did you use this concept. So I explained very briefly and well mannered. So they are convinced. So this question also explained very well. So some scenario based script they have told to write. So they have given suppose if you have lots of products are there, so as per product validity, how you are going to find out this product. So I have explained very briefly as per the script in front of him in the system. They have told just need to write the code and I will see. So I have told him, I have in front of him, I have written all the script. They are convinced very well. So all the questions they have asked about the DB side. So one thing also I need to mention here, I am full stack developer guy. So that's why they have asked some question about our Angular part. So Angular part I mentioned here, right? So see Angular part. So they have asked question what is slice method and how it works. So I have partially knowledge about the Angular, not too much depth knowledge, but as per my knowledge I have explained what is slice method. Slice method means how you are going to create a new array in the Angular. So they have told yes, correct. So the next question is how why class is marked with injectable, right? So injectable means dependency things are there, right? So that's the main things. How are you going to inject one our child class to parent class like that? So injectable annotation will work in that place. And third question, data types in the type script. So how many types of data types in the type script? Just like a boolean, number, string, null, void, which all other data types are usually in the type script. I explained very well this part also. And now the question came dependency injection. We know very well, we are Java developer, right? So dependency means how we are going to inject our dependency. Suppose sometimes we are going to use the service layer, control layer. So control object, how we are going to inject into the service level. That dependency means we can say child-parent relationship in form of a dependency. This part also have different variable. Question asked like that: what is subscriber and what is observable? So once you're going to consume some response from the endpoint, right? That time we need to subscribe that response, and we're going to save the response, right? That we're going to the subscribe method, and same thing observable also have different variable. Okay, so these all the things all the question came from the Angular side. So entire things I have remembered. Entire things what I explained you, I remembered, and in front of you I will explain all these things, right? So that's the part of E&Y interview process. So it's all about the question what the interview asks me and how I am explained. Okay, so that is more about the theoretical parts, but in next video I will bring the coding part as well. So 3 to 4 question belongs to the coding part. So how I have written the code in front of him. So I will explain in next video, guys. Okay. But entire things belongs to theoretical parts. What I explained. If you're more concentrated about these topics where you just concentrate. So core Java, Spring Boot, Microservices, REST, design patterns, DB levels, Angular, and I missed out here to explain something about AWS. So they have asked me, do you know about the cloud related things? So I have told yes, I know about the AWS. So they have asked some basic question AWS. What they asked the question, I have told very frequently. They asked how you are going to host the application, how you are going to balance the load in that way. So I have told I'm going to use the EC2 instance and S3 bucket like that, and load balancing purpose also I'm going to use services. And they have told how I'm going to use the monitoring our services. So CloudWatch I have told. So that's the basic question they've asked, and I have explained very briefly into the AWS as well. So that's more about the entire things about E&Y interview process and what will ask the question by the interviewer. I have explained. I hope I have explained all the things. And if you have any concern, any doubt, any places, please write on the comment section. And once I will get some time, definitely I will update all the things. And please, if you like this video, please like, subscribe, and share among your friends this video. Thank you guys. Bye bye. We'll meet in next video.